love hip
into
hop.
this interview that I have dropping tomorrow. Okay. Big salute to Michael Camage. All right. So let me show you how this went down. Now, Michael Camage, he is a a juror for the Brianna Warner murder case. Now, for the people who don't know who Brianna Warner is, she was found guilty of first degree murder or the first degree murder of AveboySK, RIP to AveboySK, or J. Parker Ford. He was murdered back in 2022 or the end of 2022. A lot of people thought that it was his ops. He's representing the Orton Park area of Scarborough. Okay, so that area comes with a lot of different ops and stuff like that. And a lot of people were thinking, holy shit, man, the ops got him. They thought it was a man-on-man type thing. And then lo and behold, it was revealed after her arrest that it was his girlfriend that was responsible or was accused of the shooting. And then after about 2 years in custody and then the whole trial, it came to be that she was found guilty of first degree murder. And it was kind of gruesome the way it was done too, because it's like she kind of shot him in the back of the head and just, it was a weird setup, you know what I mean? Tried to lure him in, try to link up for like a sneaky link, and then when they finally linked up, she shot him in the back of the head. Okay, so I want to say RIP once again to J. Parker Ford, aka AveboySK, but an insane case. One thing I want to say also before I get to the videos that I have surrounding this case right here, for the people who are watching, and you see the banner that's rolling across the bottom of the screen. When I go through my topics, if you want to join the conversation, okay, feel free to send a donation via super chat. You can send a donation via PayPal. Let me put the PayPal up on the screen. PayPal is Friday aka Ricky Dread at gmail.com or PayPal, and then you go to that email right there. And you can join the conversation right away, give your opinions on what's going on over here. So, and obviously throw your comments in the chat and whatever. But if you want to join into the conversation, I'll send you a link. Okay. The same email address that you see there on the screen, Friday, aka Ricky Dread. I will send you a link via that. Send me an email, say I want to join the chat along with your donation, and I will send you a link so that you can join the conversation with us. All right. And this is good for artists also who are trying to get some promotion. Not to say come up here and start rapping for me and promoting your shit. We're going to talk about the topics, but like, hey, any way to help with the visibility. So let me get to a couple of videos over here, because this gentleman, he actually, like I said, is a content creator himself. And again, big salute to Michael Camage. He had hollered at me to do some content. He was like, yo, I wanted to get your opinions on a documentary and, get your opinions on the Toronto hip hop scene and from those aspects. And I was down to do it. But then he hit me up and he was like, yo, guess what happened? I got picked to do jury duty. And it was for this case, the Brianna Warner case. I was supposed to interview him probably about a month ago, right after the verdict dropped, or after they came with the verdict. However, there was some legal red tape that was around this. He had to wait a 30-day span after her appeal. And now we are here. So let me pull up some of his content first, and then we can get to the content in question. And I'm not going to do a reaction to the whole thing. Obviously, I want you guys to check it out tomorrow, 6 p.m. But let's go through some stuff and run up this over here. Okay, let me subscribe to this page here. Farming World or Worlds. That's his YouTube channel. He put out a video giving his thoughts on the trial and just right after the trial type shit. It's 3 days old. It hasn't cracked 100 views. Let's go over there and run it up for the homie.
I'd be asked to decide whether another human being should spend the rest of their life behind bars. Sitting on a jury in a first-degree murder trial wasn't just unexpected, it was life-altering. No one prepares you for the weight of the judgment or just how long it lingers after the verdict has been read. Brianna Warner was accused of murdering a rapper known as AveboySK, real name J. Parker Ford. According to digital evidence presented by the Crown on the evening of December 16th, 2022, Brianna communicated with Jay through social media, to arrange a meeting at this very apartment. Brianna met A.W.O.L in the lobby. The two entered the elevator together and rode up to the 14th floor. A.W.O.L stepped out first. Brianna followed, pulled out a handgun, and shot him in the back of the head. You can see the rug that has since been replaced, right where A.W.O.L's body lay, blood soaking into the fibers. Video evidence later showed Brianna running from the building, fleeing through the back streets of the neighborhood. The jury listened to the Crown and defense argue the case for nearly 2 weeks. I took notes, absorbed every instruction from the judge, and listened intently, and without bias, to all the evidence. Jury duty was surreal.
Let me just pull this back a bit. This is like they're showing the entry points. This is a video of the surveillance of her walking away from the scene, not running away from the scene, walking.
Crown and defense argued the case for nearly 2 weeks. I took notes, absorbed every instruction from the judge, and listened intently, and without bias, to all the
entrance wound right there. So when they got out of the elevator, basically, to put the picture back together, when they got out of the elevator, she walked behind him and then boom, hit him in the back of the head with the thing, yo. Okay, and I explained on the podcast how she got the gun because unfortunately I didn't get that part in the interview, so I can let you guys know now how she actually got the gun. It's her ex-boyfriend's gun that she had, because her and her ex-boyfriend, she was bragging about how, and this is her bragging to the undercover that ultimately ended up cracking the case. She was bragging to the undercover how her and the ex-boyfriend used to go and get shit done. You know what I'm saying? They're watching music videos of AveboySK and DQ, RIP to both of them. They're watching music videos of these guys, and she's like, them niggas ain't real. I'm the real shit. You know, I'm the one, the real driller type shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm paraphrasing. I'm not saying exactly what happened in the court. I'm just paraphrasing of what the conversation could have been like. But she was talking her shit. And she mentioned about how, like, there was, you know, her and her ex might have done some things. She didn't say specifically that she didn't incriminate her ex, but her ex is already in jail, I guess, from whatever he got going on. And from that time, I guess he left the burner with her because they used to do doing things together. And that's how she got the gun. Because we were like, yo, how did Shorty get the gun? And how did she get her ex-boyfriend's gun? That's what we were wondering. It's like, not okay, anybody, she can go buy a gun from anybody, but like, how did she get her ex-boyfriend's gun? Was like X-Files type sounds, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, I actually have X-Files sounds. I'm late on the sound effects here today, guys. My bad. But yeah, let's continue.
Evidence. Jury duty was surreal. Everyone in the courtroom rises when you walk in. All eyes are on you. Highly educated legal professionals address you as judge. The Crown's biggest piece of evidence came from an undercover officer named TJ, who befriended Brianna for a period following the death of Jay Parker. While testifying, TJ was hidden from the public behind a screen. On April 6, TJ gave a ride to Brianna and her mother in her vehicle. During that ride, Brianna and her mother began arguing, and Brianna blurted out that she had shot A.W.O.L. Little did she know, TJ was recording the conversation.
Right, and just also for some more clarity, from what people were wondering before, like, yo, how did the undercover even like record that conversation between her and Mom Dukes? You know, it's like, yo, it's kind of crazy. Kobe Bryant says, why are you on the phone today? Oh, I should say, let you know, or because you might have not tapped in for the last couple of weeks. For anybody out there who's watching these lives, okay, what are we, about 18 minutes in? So anybody who's watching the lives and just picked whatever one that popped up on your YouTube search right away, you have options. Okay, you can go to 2 different options. There's 2 different ones on the home page that pops up. One that's the vertical view for everybody who's watching on the phone, and one that's the horizontal view for the people who want to watch the regular view on YouTube. Okay, and you know, you could also be watching on your phone. So salute to everybody who's watching either way. Dean? Let's get back to it. Salute to Randy.
The following day, on April 7th, TJ visited Brianna at her house while wearing a wire, inquiring about the comments Brianna made the day earlier in the car. Brianna confessed that it was her who shot A.W.O.L, providing details on the shooting, and had even written a rap about it titled Brain Dead. Although not used by the prosecution, Brianna mentioned a motive that when she was 12 and Jay Parker was 14, he had taken advantage of her sexually. This claim was never corroborated by independent evidence, but the accusation was shocking.
So that was something that we were also wondering as well. Motive, right? So yeah, it wasn't used or corroborated in court, but my bad, yo. Says thanks for explaining that because it has me discombobulated. My bad. I should also always let people know when I start these lives now. Moving forward, as for like maybe 2 weeks ago, we start doing. You could see 2 different streams of the live. All right, and pick your poison, basically.
Brianna seemed to carry no regard for Jay Parker Ford's life, appearing to even sound gleeful he was dead. On the recording, Brianna played one of A.W.O.L's music videos on YouTube that she sang along to. The music video was about street cred and clout and the rap scene. Brianna scoffed, exclaiming that she was the one with the jam to kill people, not these guys. By law, I am forbidden to discuss what happened during jury deliberations, but I can say that it took us 3 days to decide Brianna's fate. We would deliberate all day in a room at the courthouse, then be escorted to a hotel at night, or on a private floor we were given rooms to sleep, but with no electronics. Guards would watch us all night to ensure we did not sneak out. In a way, we were captives. On the final day of deliberations, the jury was deadlocked, and a note was sent to the judge explaining such. However, he instructed us to return to deliberations. We had another concern we addressed to the judge, noted in Global News that we believed there was a bias amongst us. But finally, on Friday at 4 p.m., we had a final verdict. In the moments after we finalized the verdict, I was buzzing. Felt like we were carrying something heavy and finally had somewhere to put it down. But when we returned to the courtroom, everything in me shifted. I saw Brianna standing there, not combative, not smug, just a scared kid in way over her head. Behind Brianna was Jay's family, eyes locked on us, not just watching but searching, knowing we were about to make a decision that would change their lives forever. All the righteousness I carried in with me just cracked. I wasn't hype anymore, I was heavy, emotional, because justice, even when it's necessary, doesn't feel clean. Felt like standing on a wire between justice and tragedy, knowing that nothing we did would ever undo the loss.
Yeah, you're all gonna keep in mind also, and I see your question over here, Kobe Bryant. Says what happens if you don't do jury duty? You know what? To be honest, I should have asked that question. My bad on that. I don't know. I actually don't know. We could look it up. Let's do a quick Google search. Good question. I don't know what happens if you don't do jury duty. Let's go to ChatGPT. What happens if you refuse? I'm gonna put in Canada also because we got to be specific. Refuse jury duty in Canada. My bad. Let's see what ChatGPT says. In Canada, jury duty is mandatory and refusing to attend can lead to legal consequences. Though the exact penalties depends on the province or territory, here's what typically happens if you refuse or ignore jury duty. Ontario fines can go up to $5,000. Damn. British Columbia up to $2,000. Alberta, $1,000. Nova Scotia, $1,000. You can be held in contempt of court. A judge can order you to appear and explain yourself. If the court decides you willingly ignored the summons, and you could be found in contempt. This may result in court-ordered fines, community service, in rare cases, jail time, usually only if ignored multiple orders. Damn. So it's Mando. Holy shit. I didn't know that. Well, that sucks. Damn, I don't want to do jury duty for murder, because like I was also gonna say, like, the part of the reason why he made this video, Michael Cammage, part of the reason why he made this video is because he had to like purge some of these feelings that he was feeling. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot. Like you have the fate of somebody's life in the palm of your hands. You can't just be willy-nilly with your decision, like, I think she's kind of cute, innocent. Like, nah, fam, like she might have murked somebody, you know what I'm saying? And all of the evidence that was brought forth in court, showed that she was guilty of the crime. So if you're, just willy-nilly and just not taking the shit seriously, and let's say she was innocent, let's say, and you're not looking at the evidence, you're falling asleep, you're not taking notes, none of those things, you could just be like, let me see. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, eeny. I don't even want to do the eeny, meeny, miny, mo, because there's implications with that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like freaking, I don't know, you might just randomly pick the wrong thing. This is a serious matter. So me personally, I don't want that kind of responsibility on my hands, on my soul. I got to go to sleep knowing, like, damn, even if the person is guilty, I know on my chest that, like, it was one of my decision along 11 other people that sent that person away for life. You know what I'm saying? Even though if I know I'm doing the right thing, it's still gonna weigh heavy on my heart. You know what I'm saying? In some kind of way, like, not in the way like, oh, poor thing, but like, damn, I just was part of something serious.
During the trial, Brianna had little resentment. I weighed her actions here like a freight train. She froze in fear as the life she knew was over. There were no fans on her side, no cheerleaders or autograph seekers, just her mother in tears watching her baby sentenced to life in prison. Brianna also took something from each member of the jury, forcing 12 unwilling members of the public to make the impossible decision of breaking the hearts of the victim's family or taking away Brianna's life. When I stepped outside after the verdict, I didn't know what to do or where to go. The weight of everything we had just done hung in the air like a fog, so I just started walking. I didn't have a destination, I just moved for hours. As I walked, I felt both grief and freedom, a strange mix of emotions. I kept thinking about AveboySK, about Brianna, two lives that crossed in tragedy, now etched in mine forever. And even though I knew I couldn't undo the harm or soften the verdict, I hoped that somehow, somewhere down the line, Brianna might find peace, and that maybe in time, Jay's family could find forgiveness, not necessarily for Brianna, but for their own hearts.
Yeah, man. Big salute to Michael Cammage. So if we go over to the We Love Hip Hop network channel, and big salute to the members. And I seen a few people said they were gifted some membership. See, look, there's two different lives that are popping up on the screen here. So that's what's going on. Let me find the members section. Members. So, and I will actually be loading up an interview next week, God willing that it goes down. It's going to be a big interview, big Toronto rapper, or not even Toronto rapper, but a big GTA rapper. Okay, one of the top 3. Okay, he's been stirring up some shit. His music has been going crazy, and we're going to be doing this interview with another artist from not the old school, but from a little bit further back in time. and do these kind of interviews where we're getting artists from before to link with these newer artists and some of the old school guys like JB, right? Big salute to JB. He's going to be popping back up on the network, interviewing some of these older artists as well. So look out. 2026 is going to be lovely, and the member section is going to be stacked.
This is a picture shown at the sentencing hearing for Brianna Warner, convicted by a jury late last month of the first-degree murder of 20-year-old Jay Parker Ford, a rap artist known as AveboySK.
How you gonna do it?
You don't know the sauce yet, all right? Been in jail for 2 hours. I'll show you the.
You get very comfortable in this person's presence, and you kind of forget, like, oh, this person might be like a cold-blooded killer, right?
Warner was arrested nearly 4 months after the deadly shooting, after bragging to an undercover officer who was wearing a secret recording device that she shot Parker Ford once in the head.
To be honest, she was like stoic, completely stoic. She did not really show any emotion.
The Crown says Warner was heard in secret recordings telling her mother and a friend she knew only as TJ, who was in fact an undercover police officer, about the shooting.
Tell them. Free the guys, niggas don't even come to free the guys, guys.
The Crown said Warner also wrote a rap song called Brain Dead, which she bragged about to TJ, about the shooting of Parker Ford.
You know, there was one point where, you know, I locked eyes with her. It was like, don't me kind of look. Like, it was, you know what the word is? Intense.
We love hip-hop.
Okay, so let's go forward a bit. I haven't timestamped it yet. I'm going to timestamp it before Saturday.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we can get to the case itself because, again, a wild case right here. And I think it's something that's took a lot of people for a loop when we found out that it was a woman involved in the shooting, and not, because for me, from somebody who's in the hip hop scene, like, we see this, right? So it's usually somebody from an opposing neighborhood or something like that. So then when we found out that it was the woman Brianna Warner, what was your first impression, like, seeing this woman, this young girl, basically walk into the courtroom?
Yeah, I mean, well, she was in custody, so she's always there when you come in, right? And yeah, I mean, it was shocking, right? Like, you don't really know what to think. You're like, wait, a woman is charged with first-degree murder, and she was so young, and she's a good-looking girl, and you have a hard time digesting that. Like, what? This person is accused of this, like, really serious thing, and yeah, like, you truthfully go in and you just have no idea if this person did this, or if they were set up, or what it is, right? Like, you absolutely have no idea, and it's drilled into your head that you have to assume that this person is innocent until they prove her guilty. Like, the judge reminds you of that all the time. Like, she has the benefit of doubt that she is innocent. And so you assume that, right? Until the evidence starts coming out and the Crown presents their case. And then you're like.
So I put a poll up because, and listen, RIP once again to AveboySK. And listen, salute to her mom, because Mom Dukes is probably going through her a lot, like Brianna's mom. Just knowing that, like, you raised this girl, she probably tried the best that she could, and you raised a killer. It's crazy. But I asked, okay, and I just put that disclaimer ahead. Would you date a convicted murderer baddie? Okay, because from the pictures that have been popping up of her, she's not like, for the YNs over there, she's not some little a 6. She's more like a set, maybe like I'll give her an 8 and a 9 if I'm like one of these little YNs out there. You know what I'm saying? There's pictures of her all done up and shit, right? When she comes home, she gonna be, if she comes home, she's gonna be 45. You feel me? She's gonna be sitting in there, preserving, not getting older. Like, you see a lot of people when they come home. Look at Max B. Max B, obviously he looks older, he's aged, but he hasn't aged that much. So you go sit and do a bid. Let's say she gets a parole, which she probably won't. She comes home after 25 years. She's going to be 46, 47. All right? She's going to go live the rest of her life. She's going to get, listen, Carla Homolka got, I think Carla Homolka is married. All right? So I'm just asking. I'm not trying to make light or anything like that, but I'm just asking. What do you mean preserving what? Kobe Bryant says preserving what? Stressed like crazy, looking mosh up? Not necessarily, because obviously it's a stressful situation that you're going to be in, and we're going to get into it in this interview, or he will explain when you guys see the interview tomorrow that she looked stressed. This is something that fucked her up when the verdict came in, right? Bartender says she has kids too. Does she have kids or is she pregnant? Because right now there's a rumor going around on Reddit. Or I don't know if it's a rumor. I think it came out of the court documents. Let's go to the Reddits. They're saying that Shorty was pregnant. Let's see. This is from yesterday, so bear with me. We'll find it. We'll find it. But yeah, they were saying that there's court documents that came out that said that she might be pregnant. I just pass it right here. So we didn't, and the Reddit has no mercies. Salute to Torontology Reddit, or maybe not. We need a nickname for this baby. First baby to do time before coming into the world. I say we call him PC. Y'all niggas got no mercy. And there's some nondescript blog page here that has the picture up here. I don't know what the caption is. Is there a caption for it? Hold on. We're gonna get to this in a minute. Yeah, there's no caption for it, but let me see if I can find something else on this. Brianna Warner. Right here, 2 days ago, Brianna Warner was actually pregnant during the homicide. Salute to Underground Nation.
In which she admitted of causing the unalivement of J. Parker Ford by pew-pewing him in the head. Miss Warner, 18, and pregnant. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, she had one kid. Oh,
Wait.
So hold on, and listen, I salute to a bud tender dad. She says she has at least one kid, Carla. God damn. So she has one kid and then one on the way. Jeez, yo, how? And listen, I know there's the term victim of circumstances, okay? But fam, one, you're like 21 when the drill went down, so you already had a youth, so you already started having youths from young. And I understand she's gone through her share of shit. She's living in the hood. I don't know if she's from Orton Park specifically, but she's from a part of Scarborough that's not probably a nice part of Scarborough. So shit can get rough. I'm sure she grew up hella rough, making bad decision after bad decision. But fam, from saying that, you're out there doing things with your ex-boyfriend, potential drills, allegedly, right? You got a youth already, and you're outside doing drills, mosh up, and then you murk the guy that's your sneaky link, like, and while you're pregnant, like, what's happening, fam? I don't know. I'm not even putting an indictment on her specifically. Like, what's happening with the generation, fam? That's crazy. How are these babies even coming to term under that stress, fam? Like, the first one that you were carrying, were you on the drill with those ones? Like, what the fuck, bro?
Whoa. Hold on.
Let's go back.
Of causing the unalivement of J. Parker Ford by
Damn.
pew-pewing him in the head. Miss Warner, 18, and pregnant. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. Wait. He was pregnant? This is news to me. So Miss Warner, 18 and pregnant, claimed the undercover officer referred to as TJ.
So she was 18 and pregnant at the time. God damn. Holy. Let's go back to the video here. That's insane. Listen, man. Choices. Let's go forward a bit. This is dropping tomorrow, 6 p.m. I put this on Instagram, so I could play this clip.
And it was real. Like, I believe it 100%. It was during her like confession to the undercover, so it was, yeah, that happened. That happened.
Wow, man. And what about demeanor? You're seeing her day after day. Is she stoic? Is she emotional? Like, what's her big thanks to Keepsake Solid for the repost demeanor throughout the trial?
Yeah, that's a great question. And to be honest, she was like stoic, completely stoic. She did not really show any emotion.
God damn.
She, there was one point where, I locked eyes with her, because you get used to it. You're like in a room with her for 10 hours a day, right? Like,
Right.
you get very comfortable in this person's presence, and you kind of forget, like, oh, this person might be like a cold-blooded killer, right? But there was one moment where I do remember, like, she looked over and we locked eyes, and I was, I was like looking into her eyes, and she was looking right into my eyes, and it was like unsettling. Like, there was something just, I'd be presumptuous to say like she looked like a killer or whatever, but there was like something a bit frightening about her. You know what I mean? And I was kind of like, I'm not going to look away. And then she
Look
was just
away,
not
bro.
looking away. And then finally, I just kind of looked away. And her lawyer like said something to her after. It was like, don't, you can't show any emotion. You don't want to kind of like give a bad impression of yourself. So,
I don't know what's going on. Okay, there we go.
but otherwise, man, she didn't say anything. She just sat there and was like, yeah, it was like out of body for her, I think.
Wow. I need to stay on that just for a quick second. Like, when you guys locked eyes, right? There's different. I ain't gonna lie. When he was telling me that story, my heart was beating a little bit. Like, damn, that's intense, fam. Facial expressions that somebody might have. They might have that a somber facial expression, like, why am I here? Or they might have that facial expression like, I'm looking at you, man.
That was the one.
That was the one, eh?
That was the one, man. Yeah, it was like, don't fuck with me kind of look. Like, it was, you know what the word is? Intense. It was intense. But again, like, when you're in that position in the court.
Okay, play one more part, and then we're gonna get to the shits.
Yeah, and Brianna's like, sure. And then she's
right here. Hold on, I want to find the rap part. Is it here? Where they talk about the music videos? It could be around here.
She was.
Yeah.
So how that works is, because that was sort of the big evidence for the Crown. And Jay Parker, his mom was consistently there, and there was a couple guys that were consistently there. I don't know if they were family members or friends. Like, you don't speak to them, but Jay Parker seemed to have like a consistent group of people coming, to watch the trial.
It's around here.
So because they had to prove to us, beyond reasonable doubt, like this Snapchat account belonged to her, and that was the one messaging Jay Parker that night, and because she had, I'm assuming, deleted everything, right?
Mhm.
So like they really didn't have a lot to go with. They had to like so at her house they found a diary, and in that diary there was a list of passwords that she had for like other email accounts and bank accounts or whatever, online access, and one of the passwords was Killer B or Killer Bree.
Woo! Listen, man, I don't like giving the feds any kind of props, bro. But the way they pieced that shit together was brilliant. All right? Like, they had to go through subpoena Snapchat. First of all, they subpoenaed A.W.O.L. And then and this is already in a clip that I put out on Instagram, and he's gonna go into more detail in the interview that I dropped tomorrow. They subpoenaed A.W.O.L. And through the subpoena of AveboySK's phone, they were able to find Snapchat messages going back and forth with somebody. However, they didn't know who this person was. So when they started going and putting the pieces together, when they finally went to her house and everything like that later on, when they finally did the arrest, they were able to finally substantiate that these Snapchat messages were from Brianna or Killer B or whatever, because one, it's in the raps, and she has a call log of all of the different passwords that she uses. They didn't know who this person might have been. Okay. The undercover started following that person, Bree underscore something something, on Snapchat because she was selling hair products and different things like that. You know what I'm saying? Befriends the undercover through Snapchat, moves over to other apps, and then from there they become besties basically. And I guess she bought some shit from her. And then that's where she started to get the information. That's where now Brianna's able to, she's more comfortable to start divulging information. A friend that she met on Snapchat. But this friend was planted by the boy them because they needed to find out who's this girl on Snapchat that was talking to AveboySK, and that the conversation ended at 3:43 before he died at 4 and change in the morning. I don't know, bro. Like, they didn't take a snitch this time to be able to figure the shit out. And usually it's always like, oh, we had one informant, and then the informant just spilled the beans. And it's like, nah, not this time. This time they were using their brain. Holy, let me just play a little bit more of this, because that shit to me blew my mind.
And so, and then that was in the rap. So it's like, oh, okay, wait, this is her. Anyway, it was just another point to connect her to that Snapchat account.
Yeah, and it seems that, like, with all the pieces that they were putting together, Snapchat was the joining or the glue that really brought everything together. If this happens and this happened and it connects back to the Snapchat, then we have the person.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. But she was also, I mean, this just shows how like cold and malice the whole thing was. Like, she thought it out. You know what I mean? Like, because like she wasn't texting him on her phone number, right? She was using a social media account, and she didn't have her name officially tied to that social media account, right? Like, so she was doing the right things to get away with the murder. It's just that she had, by the time she confessed it to the undercover, she thought she had gotten away with it, or didn't value her life enough to think it. I don't know. To me, the whole thing was a poor, like, I don't want to say the wrong thing here, but there was definitely like this sickness that was prominent in that was in the rap Toronto rap community because
Ooh. And we get into a Toronto rap community conversation in this one right here, because a lot of this is, you know, just a byproduct of just some of the toxicity that's been going on when it comes to the drill scene more specifically. I can't say the whole scene, but the drill scene more specifically. So look out for that interview premiering tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. on this YouTube channel right here. Okay, salute to the members who've already been able to watch this, and big salute to Michael Camage. Yeah, man, you went through a lot, bro. So salute to you, man. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out these other videos on the screen, and make sure to like and subscribe.
We love hip hop.